Good afternoon, beautiful people. I wanted to come on today and speak a little bit about something that was requested. Transmuting and expressing anger in healthy ways. So I have dealt a lot personally with feeling anger or rage throughout my life, and a lot of people wouldn't really probably know that about me unless we're pretty close, because I have a pretty happy-go-lucky, positive exterior. So one way that I like to work through anger or rage that might be coming up is by thrashing in my bed. That's one thing I like to do. Just thrashing and just like really letting whatever is coming up for me like come out of my body physically. Another really good way to express anger is by, punching a pillow or screaming or punching the air. I don't like to scream in my apartment because I don't want people to think something's wrong. So one safe place that I like to scream is in my car, because I can usually go and park somewhere where nobody's around and just go and kind of scream in there. Another really nice way to move that energy is by like going outside and stomping on the ground, or like maybe hitting the earth, because the thing is with anger is that unless we find a way to move that energy in our body, and we just like keep suppressing it, it's like a pot that's boiling. Like eventually the lid is going to pop off of the pot, and that's what happens a lot in our lives when we just like don't express that anger. So, and it has definitely happened for me, is like I'll just like kind of grin and bear it, and then at some point in time I just get so frustrated that it just like all comes out at once. And this is something that I actually last night was speaking to my 4-year-old niece about, because she had something come up for her and she got mad at my sister, and she was like, just leave me alone, get out of my room. And I was talking to her and I was like, do you really feel like that was like a good way to talk to your mom? And she was like, well, no. And I was like, well, it's okay to ask for space. Like, it's okay to, communicate what you need. I was like, but we can't like always like just let it pile up inside of us and then just let it spurt out. Obviously, she's 4 years old, so she's still trying to grasp, concepts of like being on this planet. So, but yeah, it's interesting how these things like kind of will come up for people. And another thing that I wanted to mention is I have a very dear girlfriend of mine, and she and I went through a lot last year together, and our relationship was very up and down. And in that process, like we were able to hold space for each other with whatever was coming up, whether that be fear or anger or sadness or loneliness, whatever was coming up for either one of us, we were able to be there for each other. And also one thing that came up was that we needed space from each other a few times throughout the year. And that is like, for me, also a really good way when it comes to like, when you're having this like anger and rage, sometimes like you can't be around that person, especially if you're angry at someone or angry at a situation. So sometimes you have to just separate yourself and say, hey, I love you, but right now I need to be more internal. I need to be with myself right now. And one thing also that came up for she and I in that time was she had all of this anger towards me. And she expressed to me that, I'm very upset and I feel like I would rip your head off if we like we're in the same room with each other, and I don't want to do that to you. And I told her, I was like, you know what, like, I want you to be able to express how you're feeling towards me or about the situation, regardless of like if it is a perceived good or bad emotion. So if you want to yell at me, if you want to give me a piece of your mind, like, yes, I'm here for that. Like, I love you and I respect you, and I know that you, after this is all said and done, that our relationship will be stronger. So, through all of that, today she and I are in a really amazing place together and are so much closer and have so much more trust with one another. So, don't be afraid to ask somebody to hold that space for you while you express your anger or your rage, because some people aren't going to be able to do that for you. Some people just are not, they're going to take it too personally. And there were definitely times when I took it too personally, but if you can work together with whomever, it's really, really healing, and it can really shift different patterns in your life if you're able to do that. But yeah, just kind of reeling it back in, expressing anger in healthy ways. Some people like to paint. Some people like to break stuff. There's ways that you can move that energy, that it doesn't have to be destructive, but sometimes it needs to be destructive. Like, if that's what you need in that moment, it's really going back to self-love and self-care. Like, yes, what we were talking about yesterday, it's so important to honor yourself in that moment with whatever you're feeling, however you're feeling it. So if you have any questions for me, hi Ronnie, please feel free to reach out to me, and we can definitely talk about this. But yeah, express how you're feeling. Expression is such an important thing, and it's something that a lot of people don't do regularly out of fear of being seen. And it's just so important that we allow ourselves to be seen as we are, because I feel like allowing others to see us in that way, allowing ourselves to be more vulnerable, opens up this different space for the relationship that we have with ourselves, that we can like love ourselves a little bit harder, love ourselves a little bit deeper, and move into more alignment with who we are supposed to be and who we want to be and how we want to live our lives. But yeah, so I hope you guys are gonna have an amazing weekend. It is beautiful here in Austin right now. I have one more client today, and I'll be here all weekend. So any other topics that you guys would like me to discuss, I would love to do that. So yeah, I hope you guys have a good one, and I will see you back here tomorrow. Thanks.